World, and this interview series is sponsored by Rehan Foundation and Institute of Peace. And today my guest is Ùgò. Ùgò from Nigeria, and we will talk about intelligence. We will talk about positive thinking, and he is author and he's a motivational speaker as well as he is a founder of learning department. So, Ùgò, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sidra, for having me on your show, Connecting the World. It's a great privilege to be here and to also meet with your audience and also share what I'm doing. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Thank you, Ùgò. For the better understanding for me and my audience, please introduce yourself, what you do, and where you started your work, from where you live. Just share with us about your journey.
Okay, so actually, I'm a learning coach, and my work is focused on helping learners, students, which includes students and uh, also young people in the journey towards self-discovery. So my work is focused on personal science of personal development that is called personal initiative. And so the essence of that personal initiative is to show people the path towards self-development based on the principle that I call individually propelled growth. So that principle is it shows people how they can develop themselves, how they can create the kind of future that they want, how they can create the kind of reality that they want, irrespective of their background, irrespective of their realities, the current realities in the environment. And the reason for this is because of the kind of environments that I grew up in. So I grew up here in Nigeria, and growing up here in Nigeria, you find yourself in a situation whereby there is this abundance of natural mineral resources and also abundance of human capital. But there is largely there is evidently lacking the material abundance that actually comes with these natural resources. And that is because the human mind that is supposed to mine these resources, that is supposed to take up these resources, mine them, and then use them to create realities, have been abandoned to rot. And so I embarked on the journey to help people rediscover their minds, to help them upgrade their intelligence so that they can harness the resources in the environment. Because irrespective of where you find yourself, and irrespective of the kind of resources that you find in your environment, if your environment, if your mind is not developed, if your cognitive mind is not developed to harness those resources, to learn how to take up those resources and then take them and then use them to create the manifestation of abundance, then you cannot have the wealth that other parts of the world, like the United States and China, are showcasing. So, wealth creation, access to resources, all of these things are a manifestation or direct result of the an upgraded intelligence, as I deem it. So, my journey and my work is focused because I believe, because of my journey, I understood that the reason why people cannot leverage the resources in their environment and then use them to create the kind of reality that they want is because their minds are not yet developed. And so, if your mind is developed, you can harness the resources, the potentials in your environment. You can convert your personal power, your personal potential to personal power, to what I call personal power, and then take your personal power, which is the value that that you create to people, take that personal power and then to convert it into a personal art that will become more like a wonder, a public spectacle that will transform the way things are seen in the world, and that will impact people on a very large scale. So that is what my work is basically about: helping people go through that journey of upgrading their intelligence and taking the journey of creating access to resources as a consequence of their upgraded minds. So, because I believe that intelligence is the only thing that you need in order to become successful. As controversial as that may sound to some people, but that is actually the truth. So, because based on my research and study, reflection, and educated reflection, I've come to the understanding that if you can upgrade your intelligence, if you can upgrade your mind, how you process information, how you interpret reality, then you would have the ability to take up any resource, any material that you find, and then convert it into gold. You would have what is called Midas touch, in the sense that whatever you touch will become gold. And so my work has been focused on learning, which I think is the most powerful skill any person can have if they want to get to the top 1% of their career, or and create realities for themselves, and also share it with others. So this is in short what my work is actually about.
I strongly believe on your work because learning is very important. And if we are talking about the religious purpose, all religions are forced to learn about humanity, learn about religion, learn about behaviors. So, sorry, we never neglect the learning point in this world. But I'm going to share a very interesting topic with my audience because in further we are discussing about how to upgrade intelligence, your intelligence, see how we can improve it. So, why intelligence is important?
Okay, so thank you very much for that question. Uh, Intelligence is important because if you understand the very definition of what intelligent means, definition of intelligence, you'll find out that it is the single factor, the primary thing that characterizes every form of life. In life, the most important thing is growth. You grow or you die. Either you are progressing or you are decreasing. You cannot stay static. And so, for you to grow, you have to understand how to interpret your environment. And so, the interpretation of environment is what intelligence is all about. So, I define intelligence as the ability, your ability to interpret your environment accurately and fast enough to ensure your survival and then your growth. Your survival and then your growth. Because every species, every form of life is in the journey, it's in the work of trying to survive. Then after you have achieved survival, that's the first stage of your being. Then you go to the next level, which is thriving. And so at that level, you are now encountering progress. You are now encountering astounding growth. But for you to undertake this process, for you to undertake this process, you have to be able to interpret the signals that are coming from the world. So every time you find yourself at any time, every life form is engaged in the process of interpreting information. So as you are now, you are getting signals that are coming from the world. So those signals come in form of a message that you're seeing from people. It comes in form of what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're perceiving from all your senses. You are always receiving signals from the world. Now, for you to be able to continually live in the world and then make progress based on that, those signals that are coming from the world, you have to be able to interpret it. And not only you will be able to interpret, you have to interpret it and then do it fast enough that you will survive. Practical example: if you're walking on the street and you're about to cross the road and there's a big lorry that is coming, and you look at the lorry, but you're yet to figure out what the lorry is about. Is it a lorry or an elephant or a human or a toy? And then you spend time trying to interpret that information, that signal that is coming. If you don't do it fast enough, and you're standing on the way, the lorry is going to crush you, true or false. That's true. So what it means is that not only that you have to interpret the information that this is a lorry that could potentially kill me, not only that you have to do it accurately, you have to do it fast enough so that you can survive that situation and then continue to grow. So this is the singular factor. This is the single thing that cuts across every form of life, every interpretation that you're doing. So this interpretation could be your marriage. You are interpreting the relationship. You are reinterpreting the relationship between you and your spouse. You are reinterpreting the relationship between you and your children, between you and your colleagues at work. You are constantly interpreting information that is coming. So the world is sending you data, and your work is to interpret it. So intelligence is your ability to do that interpretation fast enough so that you can not only that you, so that you can survive. So you do it fast enough, and you do also do it accurately. So this is why intelligence is the most important factor in everything that we do. And now, there is usually a confusion that people usually make when we talk about intelligence. And so they think intelligence as synonymous with knowledge. But that's not actually correct. Knowledge is the data, the information that is coming from outside, that you get from outside of the world. So that information, that signal that you're getting, has to be processed. The system within you that processes this information is intelligence. Knowledge is the content that it processes. So think of it as you go to the example I usually use is when you go to, let's say, a rice mill or a plant where they process maize, corn. The corn is the information. But when you get to that plant, there are machines, different machines, types of machines that process the corn. So so when you get the corn is the information. You cannot take it raw. It has to be processed and turned into flour or any kind of substance that can now be used to produce the finished product, maybe biscuits or maybe any kind of food that you want to use it for. So the processing system, the machine that grinds the corn, is intelligence. It is a processing system. The corn in itself is information. After the machine has ground the corn and converted it into something meaningful, like a flour that you can use to produce food, the final product of the processing is knowledge. So when you get in information and then you process that information, the final output is knowledge. So a good example is when you go to school. What you have thought is how to learn. Then you're given information about physics, chemistry, biology, whatever it is that you're learning in school. You're taking that information and then you process it. After you've graduated from school, then you will now be demanded to use the knowledge that you've acquired and put it to meaningful use to serve the society. Now, if your intelligence is sharp enough, what it means is that if it is good in processing information, then you will be able to process information at a much faster rate and a better rate than others. And if it's slower in its processing system, then you'll find it difficult in order to fit into the society, to achieve progress in anything that you're doing. So what I tell people is that irrespective of where you find yourself, if you are witnessing lack of success, if you are unable to thrive in any area of your life, it's not because there is not enough information for you to thrive on. It is actually all because there are not enough resources for you to thrive on, because even resources are a form of information. So it's not because there are not enough information for you to thrive on. It is actually because you have not upgraded your intelligence to the level that you can take any information, any resource that you find, and then convert it into something meaningful that you can give to the world and then use it to create value and create wealth. So this is why it is important. Intelligence is, for me, the single most important factor in anything that you're doing. if you're going to get to the top 1% of your career, if you're going to create resources for yourself. I live in Nigeria, and many people talk about, and in my country, it is the norm that my country is it's defined defined as an underdeveloped country. So, and meaning that we have not harnessed the capacities, the resources here, and we don't have the developed structures, systems put in place, like in the United States, where all of these things have been put in place. And so, people usually cry in their environment, that I exist in, that they don't have resources to grow themselves. They don't have the resources to explore their full potentials. And to a large extent, you might say that the resources in my environment is not as advanced, is not advancedly developed like those in the United States. But the fact is that there are these resources, irrespective of the fact that they have not been developed, they have not been processed, they are still in their latent stage, they are still in their undeveloped stage. What these resources need is not, they don't need technology to develop. Technology is the significance of knowledge. Technology is simply knowledge that has been put into meaningful use. That's what technology is. So you don't need technology to improve the resources, the natural and latent resources in your environment. What you need is an upgraded mind, is the intelligence to take those resources that are still latent and convert them to anything that you want them to become. That is what the folks in the United States, in the United Kingdom, and in other developed parts of the world did. So my evangelism in my country and in other developing countries across the world is to help people, to empower people with the skills, the strategies, the approaches, the principles that they can use to upgrade their intelligence so that they can take whatever latent resource that they have in the environment and then convert them into finished products, into resources, into abundance of wealth, and then create access to resources and lift billions of people that are in this environment that are poor, lift them out of this poverty. And so because of this, I wrote my first book on exercise and clear thinking, because I believe that if you develop the capacity to interpret reality, to think clearly, then you can judge, you can process any situation, and then you can get to the root cause of any problem that you're dealing with. With clear thinking, you can make better decisions. With clear thinking, you can solve problems, and then with clear thinking, you can create. And after I wrote that book, I also wrote my second book, which is Infinite Learning. And this book is actually a precursor to the main version that will be released later this year. The version that the title of the book is Infinite Learning, developing the capacity to learn anything, become anything, that's master anything, and then create anything. Because I believe that if you are gonna be successful in your environment, you have to master these three abilities. You have to master these three things. You have to be able to learn. You have to be able to achieve mastery in what you have learned. And then you have to be able to express that which you have learned in form of creation. So ability to learn, ability to become a master, and then ability to create. So this is what my work is all about. And I believe if you can master this three process through the act of infinite learning, then you can get to any level that you wish for yourself, and then create abundance of resources for others.
Okay, I have a very interesting question. Maybe it will help us, me and my audience, to understand what is intelligence. The question is how we know that if we are intelligent. Suppose I just want to know that am I intelligent or not. So what is the procedure?
Okay, so uh, usually when you talk about intelligence, it's really a very hot topic. It's really a very controversial topic, because when you talk about intelligence and then you say that for you to and you attach success to intelligence, even though it's actually really attached. When you attach the notion of success to intelligence, people usually push against that, because they say, because in the past it has been linked to racism. racist thoughts. So when we talk about intelligence, some people can say that so the reason why people in Africa or in some Asian countries are not developed is because they have lower intelligence. That's the reason. So but the fact is this: intelligence in and of itself is endowed in every human being. Every human being is endowed with intelligence. So we have the natural propensity, we have the capacity to process information, to interpret the world. And that capacity, in and of itself, is intelligence. As a matter of fact, human beings are not the only intelligent beings on earth. The dog is intelligent, the ant is intelligent, the cells in your body are intelligent. That is why the internal processes that are happening in your body right now, you don't control them consciously, but they still happen, irrespective of your conscious or your non-conscious interference. So the cells in your body multiply on their own. So that shows you that there is an internal intelligence within them by which they are operating themselves. The world that we live, the cosmic universe that we exist in, is intelligent in itself. So it is processing information. So intelligence is about information processing. That's what it is naturally. Now, the question of knowing if you are intelligent gets solved once you understand it this way. You would understand that you have the capacity of intelligence, irrespective as far as you have, as far as you can process information, then you are intelligent. That's natural. That's basically what it means. But when we talk about getting to an advanced level, the reason why we humans have evolved and gotten to the top ladder of the food chain in our world is because we have upgraded our intelligence. Our intelligence, we have learned how to upgrade our intelligence. We have gotten to the level that we can process information much accurately and faster than other species. That is simply what has happened. Now, this thing that has happened between us and the animals and other life forms in the animal kingdom is also present in the human ladder, in the human society. Now, but this is not to say that some humans are better than others. As far as every other person, as far as you have the capacity to process information, you are intelligent. The only thing there is you have to go through a system that has to educate you. That's the essence of education. What education does is to help to process, to harness this your intelligence so that you can now use it to create resources. So when you go to an environment where the people are largely the resources in the environment are largely undeveloped, untapped, it doesn't mean that these people are less intelligent in their ability, in their capacity to process information. It only means that they have not harnessed that capacity to become a capability that can be used, that can be put into meaningful use. That is the only thing there. So what you now need to do is to put them through a system of education that will enable them to you take that capacity, because capacity is about innate potential. Capability is the actuality of what you can use your potential to do. If you have every one of us has the capacity to see. Everyone has the capacity to see. But if something pokes your eye, if something, okay, a good example is everyone has the capacity to see, but a child, a 1-year-old child or a 1-month-old child has the capacity to see, but the child has not developed the capability to see. So the child cannot yet see because the child has not been trained, has not trained his eye or her eyes to see. But she has the capacity to see. So she only needs to be put through the process so that she can develop that capacity and turn it into capability. So this is the exact same thing that happens when it comes to intelligence. Each and every one of us has the capacity of intelligence. What we have differently from others is different capabilities. Your child's intelligence is not the same as yours when it comes to capability. At the level of capacity, the level your child's intelligence and yours are the same. But at the level of capability, which is what your intelligence can actually do in the world, the level of your child's intelligence and yours is not the same. Why? Because of the level of exposure, because of the level of education that you have is quite different from that of the child. So what my work is focused on, the books I'm writing, the lectures I'm giving, the interviews I'm granting, what it is focused on is helping people to improve their capability, not their capacity. I can't improve your capacity. You already have the capacity. You've got it right from the time you were born. What I'm helping people do is to help them improve the capability so that they can harness their innate potentials and then use it to create what they want.
True. Okay, my next question is how we can defining and measuring the intelligence. Because I'm asking that I am more intelligent. You are saying that, and someone is because we both are sitting in a one class, and we are debating on the same topic. But how the teacher or the person or the jury define and measure intelligence level for both of us. So my question is that how we are defining and measuring the intelligence level in any human being who exists in this world.
Okay, okay, that's great. So, in my book on infinite learning, and also in my book, the my upcoming book that'll be released in the course of this year, Journey to 1%, I define the levels of intelligence. And so the levels of intelligence are the ladders, the places where people's intelligence are in their cadre based on their work. So if you understand that intelligence is about information processing, you would all understand that when we talk about levels of intelligence, we are talking about levels of interpretative capabilities. That's what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about levels of intelligence, I'm talking about levels of interpretative capability. So what it means is that if you are in level one, let me start from there. If you are a teacher, okay, let's talk about being an engineer. Let's say you are a computer programmer. The level of intelligence that you have as a computer programmer is quite different from the level of intelligence that you have as a teacher. You could be a very good computer programmer. You could be a very good programmer, and in your level of intelligence there, which is your ability to interpret information in that field, your level of intelligence is higher, is let's say 8 or 9. But when it comes to music, your level of intelligence is 2 or 3. So what it means is that when it comes to programming language, computers and the digital systems, you have an interpretative capability that is much higher than others. But when it comes to music, your interpretative capability is much lower because you have not harnessed that potential. So this boils down to neuroscience when you understand how your brain works. So in my book, The Journey to 1%, I talked about the capacity, the ability for your brain to process information. Now, when Albert Einstein died, scientists brought out his brain and they looked at some parts of his brain, the parts that actually were dedicated to calculation, numbers, and all of that. And they found out that the neurons in that part of his brain were densely compacted. They were so compacted together, which made the information processing, the ability of the cells, the neurons in the brain to pass information between each other to become much faster. Because when cells are condensed together, so the time frame between which they can send signals between each other, which is the process of information interpretation, is shortened. than when they are dispersed. So what it means is that he had practiced that area, he had practiced physics and mathematics so well that the part of his brain that takes care of physics and mathematics, the cells have become condensed, making it faster for them to send signals between each other faster. So that's meant that he had improved intelligence. He had higher intelligence when it comes to calculation, when it comes to mathematics. But if you had brought Albert Einstein and maybe told him to drive a taxi, and then you calculated the part of his brain that was dedicated to navigation, you would understand that the cells there wouldn't be as condensed as those in the parts that were dedicated to the area of calculation and physics and mathematics and all of that. So intelligence, from this perspective, is understood from that which you have processed, which you have practiced long enough that the cells in your brain have now become so familiar with it. The neural pathways in that area of your brain has become so large, and then the cells can communicate very fast, shortening the time lag that it takes for signals to be transferred from a particular aspect of the brain to another, for signals to be transmitted between cells. And remember, in my definition of intelligence, I talked about ability to interpret information accurately and then to do it fast enough. So if the cells are compacted very tightly, what it means is that it will be able to process information much faster and do it much better. So in talking about the levels of intelligence, now, if you are an engineer and then you have harnessed that capacity to process information in that area of your field fast enough, what it means is that your intelligence in that area is higher. But it's not the same with someone who is a musician. So it varies. But I talk about in my book, The Journey to 1%, that irrespective of the levels of intelligence that could be different based on different fields of endeavor that one is engaged in, there are skills and there are mindsets that if you want to process information, that can help you to process information in any field of endeavor that you find yourself, that will help you to process information in those areas much faster so that you can become successful in them. So these skills and these mindsets, they are cognitive skills and cognitive mindsets. They are not skills that relate to technical skills. Let's say the ability to code, the ability to play guitar, the ability to read, the ability to write. These are skills that are specifically dedicated to a specific area of endeavor. So they are technical skills for particular fields of endeavor. But there are general skills that will help you to process information irrespective of the place you find yourself. And these are cognitive skills and also mindsets that can help you to process information irrespective of where you are. And this is where my work is focused, because I cannot train you to become a program. I don't have the skill to train everyone in every field of endeavor. But I can tell people that the people who find themselves in the top 1% of any ladder that you find yourself, any career, any field of work, the people in this top 1%, there are basic skills, cognitive skills, and mindsets that they have employed. And these skills and mindset run across every area of endeavor that you look at. There are things that they do. There are ways that they interpret information. There are ways that they look at the world. There are certain ways that they learn that are quite different from the way the general mass, the other people, do their things. So if you follow that mindset, you would get to the level of this top 1%, the people who are crushing it in different ladder. So you could talk about the richest people, the wealthiest people in the world, the Nobel laureates, people who have achieved phenomenal results, phenomenal achievements in their career, just understudy them. There are some skills and some mindsets that they have that are quite different from people who are still struggling in their business. So these skills and mindsets are what I think that if you employ them in your work, irrespective of the field that you find yourself, irrespective of the level of endeavor that you are engaged in, if you deploy these skills and these minds, if you learn them and then apply them in your work, you would find yourself in the top 1% of your career. So I don't know if I answered your question about the levels of intelligence.
Yes,
So
it is very satisfactory answer, and again, I
yeah,
just
so
learned
yeah,
lots
time
of
will
things
form
that
me.
you're from.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so I want to say time will form me to maybe go into detail. Maybe of course as we go along, if you with more questions, I could explain some of these skills. But if there are a lot of there are a lot the skills are many, and I explore them in my book. But more importantly, if your audience, if you want to check out any of them, you could also go to my Facebook page and check out my videos. It's called Intelligence Upgrade. Or you would
Okay,
find where I discussed all of the skills and the mindsets you can adopt. I do them. I publish videos every week, so you can find them where I've discussed them. But well, with your this, I can discuss some of them. But continue with your question.
okay, I just request to you, please send me the link on my private chat here. I want to paste under our screen because people will search it and follow you.
Okay.
So please, I
Okay.
request to you if you are doing now, so it will be easy for me to paste your link under the screen.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'll drop the link immediately on. I'll drop the link for so that you can press it on the screen. Uh, okay. Continue. Yeah. I'll send the link to you so you can drop it. Yeah.
Yes, right now, please, because I want to paste it now.
Okay. I'll
Because
do
my
it now.
live audience want to search your channel on YouTube and Google your book as well. Maybe your book is available on Amazon and other areas, so they will be learn from your book. If you are busy with other activities, people will engage and people will get benefits from your videos and books.
Okay. All right. I'll do it now.
Okay, but I have a last question about you're talking about the profession, you are talking about the passion, and you in the last you are talking about the mindset good and as well as uh, the personality and the profession. You are talking about the using clear thinking to make accurate and fast decision in your work. If you are clear about your task, if you are clear about your mission. So, clarity, how much clarity is important for become a successful person in short time?
Okay. So you're asking how much clarity is required for you to become a successful person in the short term, for you to become a successful person. Okay, so yeah, so in my book, An Exercise in Clear Thinking, I explored the principles that you want to adopt if you're going to process information, interpret the world accurately, and do it fast enough. So, and I laid out 11 principles in that book. So I'm gonna send you the link now, so that you can your audience can check out the book. It's on Amazon. It's also on my website. So I explored 11 principles for thinking accurately. And the reason why I wrote that book was mainly because I asked myself, if you find yourself in a position of leadership where people look up to you, where you've become a cultural ideal, and then where people look up to you, how sure am I that I'm not going to make terrible decisions like leaders in the past? People like Adolf Hitler, people like Mobutu Sese Seko in Africa, who have made terrible decisions and who have led people astray. So I found out that for you to become a good man, if you want to become a good man, you don't need goodwill to become a good person, because majority of the people who you find in leadership positions and who we think are evil, even terrorists that we think that are evil, they are not, they don't think themselves as evil. They actually think that they're doing the good thing. So what I tell people is that you don't need goodwill to become a good person. What you need is clear thinking, is clear judgment, is improved intelligence. That's what you need. So in that book, I explored 11 principles that could help you to process information faster and get to the level and better and make accurate decisions. So one of the principles that I talked about there is the principle of understanding what value is. I talk about principle of understanding what value is because it's really important in our dealings, because everything that we are doing, as we're engaging with people, as we are engaging doing business, everything that we are doing, we are usually, in the quest of trying to give value to another person. And value is simply about friction solving problems for other people. So if you understand what value is and how it works, then you will be able to process information much faster, and you'll be able to deliver it and give it to people. Now, clear thinking, to think clearly, simply means to be able to use the right cognitive framework to interpret the world, to look at the world. So reality is such that when you look at our minds, look at reality. And then reality is more like an infinite whirlpool of possibilities. It's like a vortex of possibility, many infinite possibilities. Everything is there. And so our minds are always taking snapshots of this possibility. Our minds, in and of itself, doesn't have the capacity to conceive the whole of reality, to see reality as it is. We don't have that capacity to say it. But we have the capacity to take snapshots. So it's just like the proverbial metaphor or story that is usually told about 7 people who were asked to describe an elephant. And so the first person came, and the 7 blind men who were asked to describe an elephant. So the first person came and touched the trunk, and the person said that an elephant is like a snake. The second person touched the legs, and he said that the elephant is like a trunk, a big tree, like a trunk. So as they were touching the different parts of the elephant, they were describing the elephant from their own perspective, from what they could perceive. That is how reality is. Reality is like that big elephant. So when we touch one part of the elephant, that is our minds taking a snapshot. A snapshot is just like a quick shot of something from a particular perspective. So you take that snapshot, and then you conclude that that is what reality is. So these snapshots, after we have taken this snapshot, it is from this snapshot that we create our belief systems. That is from where we create our belief systems. That is from where we create our cultures. That is from where we create our educational systems. All of these structures that we have in our society. So these snapshots, in and of themselves, they define some aspects of reality, but not the whole reality. So what they give us is beliefs. And belief is simply a feeling of certainty that makes you accept something as true. That is what belief simply is. But belief in and of itself is neither true nor false. It is simply a feeling of certainty that makes you accept something as true. So in itself is not true or false. But the ideas, the knowledge backing your belief, behind your belief, has the potential to be true or false. So you could have the belief, like example, you're a Muslim, right? Yes. So you have the belief that Allah has blessed you and He has sent you off in the world to become prosperous and then to help others. And then that belief in and of itself is neither true nor false. It's a feeling of certainty that you have. If you apply it in the right circumstance, it's going to work for you. But if you apply it with the wrong circumstance, it's not going to work. So if you now believe that Allah has blessed you and He has asked you to become prosperous in the world, and then you go to your room and sleep and you don't get to work, you don't do anything, you don't engage in activities, you know, to bless others and then to create value in the world, that blessing that you think that Allah has given you is not going to be manifested in your life. So that is a clear case. That is to show you that that belief is neither true nor false. It's simply it is dependent on how you apply it in the world. So, but how do you not apply beliefs properly? That is where the book An Exercise in Clear Thinking comes in. It helps you to understand that there are cognitive frameworks, certain cognitive frameworks that have been observed by the observation of reality based on how reality works. Science has observed this. Reality, people, philosophers have observed how the world works, and they have distilled these principles. And then based on these principles, if you apply these principles to your belief, irrespective of the belief that you have, then you will be able to be effective in the work that you're doing. So an exercise in clear thinking is your ability to not base your judgment based on the snapshots that you have of reality, because these snapshots in and of themselves do not give you the full picture of reality. But it allows you to interpret reality from a point of view that gives you a better understanding of reality. And these points of view is what I've laid out as the 11 rules in my book, An Exercise in Clear Thinking. So I distill them there. If you can check out the book on Amazon to get a full comprehension. Time will fail me to go into details to all of them, but you can check out the book in Amazon, and then you get full detail of the principles that I laid out there.
Okay, this was a very amazing and very informative session. Believe me, because I'm listening and I'm sitting in front of you, I learned lots of things. There is a 5 to 6 basic, you can talking about basic flaws in my personality. I just don't want to focus on my mission. I never think my mission is not as much clear as I'm expecting. That's why I'm facing a very hardship to achieve my goals. But after this live show, I learned a lots of things. I really cleared about where I'm standing and where I am not doing things correctly by myself. So, as the same opinion from my audience, I'm very thankful to you, your time, your devotion, your energy. I respect your all energy you just transferring from through this to us. Take care, Jazakallah. But in the end, I just request to you any message for my audience who's are watching you from the Connecting the World platform.
Okay. Okay, you're asking for questions from the audience, right?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
just asking, say anything about my audience as a message.
Okay. My final word to your audience. Okay. So my final word would be I believe that majority of your audience is from Pakistan, right? Yes. So Pakistan, like Nigeria, is still a developing world, and you people have a lot of energy. You have a lot of passion, and I've seen that in the social media, how you people have embraced the social media, the technology, and how you are using it to explore the world of possibilities that are out there. Now, there's what I talked about. There's a phenomenon I talked about in my upcoming book, and I also explored it in my courses. If you can check them out on Facebook. I talked about environmental oasis, and the concept of environmental oasis is when you find yourself in an environment that doesn't really give you the full support that you need to grow, that you need to explore the full potentials of what you have. You can create an environmental oasis whereby you remove from yourself the toxic elements that are coming from your current environment, leaving only the ones that are helpful to you, the ones that are useful. And then you use digital technology. Technology has given us the capacity, the capability to explore different environments that are not within our immediate local environment. And so you use technology to explore other environments, other minds that can allow you to realize your full potential. And this is what I think majority of the people from Pakistan are doing. I have a lot of friends from Pakistan and here on Facebook, and when you listen to them speak, when you listen to what they do, you understand that these are people who are full of dreams and hopes and aspirations. And so, even though your environment might not give you all that you need to explore and to achieve your full potentials, but technology has given you the capacity to tap into the global space where you can find people of like minds. And that is what you're doing. And I congratulate you. I encourage you, Sidra, for what you're doing. You're doing such a great work, and you are really impacting the lives of others. And at the same time, you're also learning, because without these, you would have been confined within your environment. But look at you now. You are exploring. You are finding other means and capacity and other ways to connect with minds, other intelligent minds that are out there that can also contribute to the work you're doing. So I encourage your audience out there to leverage technology and then use it to explore into the world. The whole world is for you. It is not reserved for anybody. It's not reserved for any person. It is for you. You can explore the world. You can explore the breadth and the depth and breadth of this world. You can do that even if only you open your mind to learning. Make yourself an infinite learner. Become an infinite learner. Explore. The internet has a lot of free resources. There are a lot of information out there. You can go to the internet. There are a lot of free books. Take out those books, read them, expand your mind, expose your mind to the different realities that are that are in different parts of the world. When you expose your mind, with exposure comes improved intelligence. With exposure comes improved capability. When you expose your mind to the different realities outside your own confines of your own environment, you can see that there are no limits to what you can achieve, that there are no limits to your capabilities. So what I encourage your audience is, let them explore the huge abundance that the internet has provided for each and every one of us, for people in underdeveloping in developing nations like your nation and my nation. That is what has allowed me to get to the level that I am today, and that is what would also enable me to get to the top 1% of my career, and as well as you. So I wish you luck, and I encourage you to continue the good work that you're doing. You are really impacting people's lives positively, and you're gonna be better for it. Thank you.
So nice of you. Ogi, so nice of you. I'm very thankful to you for your kind and very motivated words for me, and it's very meaningful for me and my audience. Take care and God bless you. And I just pray for that God makes this connection more stronger, because I learned lots of things from you. But in my religion, the one thing isn't written on my book, Islamic book, where is written, if someone is teach you the one word, that means he or she is your teacher. So respect your teacher like a father, like a senior person, like your mentor. So I respect you, and my audience is also respect you. But I again begging to you, please connect with us and guide with us. Make a strong international community with us, because we are learning from you and from environment, from IT, from digital marketing. So take care, God bless you, and thank you once again for your valuable time for us. Jazakallah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sidra. Thank you. It's nice having you. Yeah.
Bye. everyone. Thank you for watching this very informative session with Ogi. And Ogi is from Nigeria. He is the most talented and young person who's an author, who's a learning coach, and as well as he is a brilliant human being. And I respect him a lot. So if you like this video, please share this video in different groups because this information is spreading from all over the world. So never stop this learning strategy. Please share this video and start this journey from this video. Take care. Bye. This interview series is sponsored by Rehan Foundation and Institute of Peace. Take care.